Hello everyone, I'm Women International Master Knarik and I'm using the chesswithknarik.com website to record this video. Also, I would like you to check out the chess.ie website. It's a new platform that we are working on. You can check all the features there and improve your chess skills using the different features on both websites. So here we are seeing the second part of the video where we are seeing games where we're castling on opposite sides of the chessboard. Black has castled here on the king side, white has castled on the queen side. And we saw in the first video the basic rules of castling on the opposite sides, what we should do, what we should not do. For example, we should try not to move pawns on the side that we have castled, because then if we move the pawns, it's going to make it easier for our opponent to open up files to attack. And in this position, then black is trying to attack queen side, white is trying to attack king side. And right now, okay, the knight and the bishop on the king side are not developed, and black is attacking twice the c4 pawn. And what are the options for white to protect this pawn? Well, of course, we should look at pushing the pawn to try to fork the bishop and the knight, but black can save the knight by attacking the queen with an intermediate move and then save the bishop as well. So going back, there's also the option of pawn to c5, which might have been the best move in this position, but white played not a correct move, played a pawn to b3, because as we said, moving pawns on the side that we have castled is going to make it easy for our opponent to open up lines. And with b3, right away, black has a plan to open up the a file and just plays pawn to a5, followed by pawn to a4, opens the a file. We can double, even triple on the a file with the two rooks and the queen on the a file and start a very fast attack here. While it's more challenging for white to open up any files because black hasn't moved any pawns on the king side where black has castled. Now, here, the bishop moved to d3. Knight attacked the bishop. Okay, this is an open position. We do want to trade our knight with the bishop, especially this bishop is defending the queen side where white has castled. So white definitely kept the bishop. Also, it's good to keep it just in case we have some tactics on black's king side of the chessboard. Here, of course, black is continuing with their plan, pawn to a4, and we just want to open up the a file. Here, white developed the last piece, knight g2 e2, and black castled, and right away rook to a3. By gaining time attacking a pawn, we are clearing the a8 square for the queen to move to a8, and then we also want to move away the queen and bring the f8 rook to a8 and have let's say both rooks and the queen on a d8 file with a very strong attack. So here, king defended the b3 pawn, queen moved to a8, just like we were planning. And in this position, white played the pawn to d5, attacking the bishop on e6. Now here, black left the bishop there and played the e7 bishop to f6, because this bishop now is pinning the c3 knight to the king. That's an absolute pin. White, of course, cannot capture because now the c3 pawn is the c3 knight is pinned, and black so can check from the a2 square. Moving the king is just going to be checkmate in one move, while capturing the rook is going to be checkmate in two moves. That's going to be queen captures. Again, there's no capture with the knight because of the pin. King is going to move away, and there we are. That's checkmate. So going back, bishop to f6 was not a blunder. It was a good move, and white shouldn't have captured on e6, and they didn't, of course. So in this position, instead of capturing the bishop on e6, white played the bishop to d4. So now the c3 knight is not pinned anymore. Black traded that bishop and then moved away the bishop to d7. Here, knight moved to c1, trying to defend, trying to trade the knight that's on b4. But we continue with our plan. Queen to a5, rook to a8, and of course in each position, let's say even before let's say moving to c1, it's good for white to check if there are any sacrifice, and it's good for black to be aware that to make sure that there's no such a sacrifice that works for white, and in this case there isn't. And here, after, let's see, after the last move played queen to a5, uh, move here was um, rook to uh, h4. Okay, the threat that white has is just to checkmate. Let's say they just want to capture and then move away the rook, move away the bishop, sacrifice the rook, move the queen to the h file. Uh, okay, we can see it. If white could play one more time, they could capture, move away, and just sacrifice the rook on h8 and move the queen to the h file and checkmate. Right. So going back, of course, here, let's go back. Of course, white cannot play two moves when rook h4 is played. Black plays pawn to g6. Here, knight to d3, trying to trade off pieces that are attacking. And the knight captured. But now there is a threat of capturing on b3, so definitely defending the b3 square is very important here. Bishop to c2 was played. Now, after bishop c2 is played, black played the bishop to f5, because the c2 bishop is the defender of the queen side. It's the almost the most important piece that's keeping the queen side, that's holding the queen side for white. So moving that away is going to be good for black. We can just try capture here, and okay, we're at least winning material. That's the least, if we can't checkmate with all these pieces that we have. And here, so also the threat is we want to capture. If white doesn't capture, we want to capture, and then again the b3 pawn will be captured, and we will have an attack. We will win material. So white played the rook to b1, so that, let's say, if we capture here, they're going to capture back, and the b3 pawn is still defended by the rook on b1. So, but here in this position, black played the last move, after which white resigned, and the move played here was the sacrifice on the b3 square, because here, let's see the different options that that there are. Let's say if bishop is capturing, then we can just checkmate in one move, right? From a3 with the queen. Our bishop is controlling the light squares, the queen is controlling the dark squares, so, and is protected by our rook. Going back, then it means that white cannot capture, but cannot capture means that king must move away. And when the king moves away, okay, now we can simply win material and keep attacking. For example, a simple example could be just capture on c3. We just won a rook. Capture here doesn't work because we have the threat of checkmate. So to defend against the threat of checkmate, probably the trade of queens is going to happen. Now we're still pinning and attacking the c2 bishop twice. So rook must move to b2. Okay, we have many options here. One of them is to just to capture on c4, because now again white has to give up the exchange. Otherwise, what to play here? The rook on b2 cannot move to any square without leaving the bishop. Okay, this is a very good position for black, and already we have an extra material, and we're getting more material in this position. So in this example, we saw how, again, by playing a pawn move on the side that we have castled, we right away weaken our queen side, in this case with white, and where we have castled, we should try not to avoid pushing pawns on the side that we have castled, and instead okay, try to find other solutions, probably in this case pushing this pawn or pushing this pawn, not to allow black to open up any files to attack on the queen side.